for me. Hopefully it won't pick up too much going on, but I am talking up front now because I think I mentioned this in the past. If I just jump in and announce Idiots on Parade, the Too Ugly for a TV podcast, it cuts off the first 5 seconds. Once you hit live, the first 5 seconds are gone. So now that I've talked, hello, welcome to Idiots on Parade, the Too Ugly for TV podcast. We mock the news so you don't have to. I am Nathan Timmel, stand-up comedian in Iowa City. With me, as always, is Jake Vevra, stand-up comedian in New York City. Hello, Jake.
How's it going?
All is well here. We are back to the phone. Last week we tried an experiment. I liked the way it looked. I loved the way it sounded. YouTube, when you go through a second party, we use StreamYard. It doesn't put you into feeds.
They don't like the middlemen. They're like, you want live streaming? You come straight to us, you bastards.
Sacrificing quality for quantity. Hello, Rich. First to arrive, as always. Rich is a very fine supporter. Very always first in.
On Rich.
All right. I just put water down my lungs.
Good. Sounds great on live streams, man.
Let's jump in with some news. I want to start with this just because it's so stupid. I want to start with something stupid. And first of all, I go to a couple aggregate news sites. I don't really go to CNN, or I do go to CNN. I go to a lot of places, but I don't go to BuzzFeed. This was in an aggregate site. But it's a BuzzFeed article, which means it's not really news. I understand that it's not news, but it still made me laugh. BuzzFeed, the headline: I don't understand how every American is not absolutely humiliated by this. People are not holding back after a mobile McDonald's was spotted during President Trump's visit to Saudi Arabia. Hey, dumb people, this is what he feeds off of. He won the election by being a man of the people, by driving a garbage truck, by going and working at McDonald's. Your bullshit overreaction, negative reaction, and finding the 10 stupidest people on Twitter to complain about it. He likes McDonald's. Why is this a thing? I mean, you're talking to two guys that aren't really Trump fans, but you don't have to fucking overreact to everything.
The thing is, there was something to react strongly about that happened on that trip. It wasn't the lunch. It was the $400 million jet he was gifted by Qatar right after he finished the McDonald's. That's what you should be. Keep your eyes on the press. Even the right wingers are upset about that. Keep your eyes on that.
Hero spoke out about it against. Yeah.
Yeah, Laura Loomer, a bunch of them. Yeah.
Name says Mikkel. Hi. My favorite thing is Rich says it's a bribe. It's absolutely a bribe. I wouldn't be, and I don't want to go conspiracy theory here, but I mean, it's a big plane. They could hide bugs on it, and I don't mean bugs like ants. I mean like it could be compromised. It could be a compromised piece of technology. But my favorite thing is, I don't know if you've seen.
You remember when they were going to ban TikTok? Remember when they were going to ban TikTok because, China's going to have our information from the phone? Yeah. Fly around on our plane we gave you. That's fine. Yeah. Fly around in the plane given to you by the Saudis, the same country that, orchestrated 9/11 in that, and then fucking talk to us about how, Hillary Clinton's corrupt because she had dealings with Qatar, which, hey, I kind of agreed with him when he said that. That was the one thing that I kind of agreed with him when he was talking to Hillary. It's like, yeah, she does have a lot of shady overseas connections. He just got a $300 million plane from those same people.
The Daily Show did a side-by-side of Trump 2016 and Trump 2025, like what he was saying.
He went at her hard to debate for that, for taking money from people in Qatar.
Favorite thing is the right wing trying to justify it by saying, have you seen this? They're literally saying, well, France gifted us the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the thing. If France gave him the $300 million plane, I'd still be a little, I don't know if that's the best. It's the most ethical thing you should be doing. But Jesus Christ, that wasn't France, man.
It's also, that was a gift that's going to sit in an arbor. Now, 1 minute says that it's a gift to we the people. Did it change? Because I haven't read a change. From what I understand, he gets to keep the plane and put it in his presidential library. It's not going to become the new Air Force One or get returned to Qatar. If that's the case, like I'm not.
Find a way. I don't care what he says. He's going to find a way around it. You know what I mean? No one's going to give it. He's going to do so much more crazier shit than this in the next 3 years. No one's going to care about this plane. Everybody will have forgotten about it by 2020.
Here we go. An outcome, bro. You realize to modify the plane in order to be able to be Air Force One, it will cost the taxpayers over $800 million. Why? How? Because they're just going to paint Air Force One on the side. What does it need that it doesn't already have? It's a luxury Boeing.
The military shit. All the what you were saying about the bugs. Yeah, they got to go through it with a fine tooth comb. B, they have to install stuff that you or I don't know about because you got to be able to launch nukes from the fucking thing and be able to communicate from space and all this stuff. So yeah, I mean it's going to cost a lot of money to do.
We got a bunch of right wing apologists in here, and this guy doesn't read the news. We're calling us chumps. Rich got it. All the military stuff. That's what you just said. Yeah, and you got to have that Escape from New York egg pod, the thing that drops him into New York City when New York is a prison. The little egg pod. Soul Reaper says we're absolutely nobody's. We never said we weren't, but at least we're not completely retarded fucking right wing apologists.
I don't think he's calling us chumps because we're shitting on Trump.
He is, because he had another one up there. Now he's calling us nobodies because he had another comment up there where he I don't think he appreciates logic. I don't know.
See that one? Sorry, bud.
Outcome says it has to be nuke resistant as well. Is anything really nuke resistant?
I think yeah. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say if that plane is close enough to a nuclear bomb, there's gonna be problem. I think that's one of those things to where some guy was like, "Oh, dude, this paint that I'm using, nuke resistant. That'll be an extra $100,000." I think there's a lot of grifting going on with it.
Mensch is pulling out the Fantasy Island reference. Deep plane. Yeah, you should have written D plane, not the plane. The plane, the plane. Duh. I can't remember what Harvey, the midget said on Fantasy Island.
I don't know the reference. Is
Fantasy Island. It was Ricardo Montalban and Hervé Villachez, the little midget, like, boss, the plane, popular culture.
I too young for that.
Either way, this all started because I didn't even have the plane pulled up because I didn't care. I just pulled up the other one. The fact that we're pissing people off, that's what it does. By people getting outraged over McDonald's, which we think is funny, it's just all about outrage.
Yeah, I think there's. I mean, when I was deployed overseas, they would have a lot of those kind of truck things with fast food in them on some of the bigger bobs and stuff. I mean, that's fairly normal looking.
Well, this was because they pulled it up at the tarmac. It wasn't on a base at Qatar. Yeah, that you'd when I visited Afghanistan, more soldiers ate at the Taco Bell and Burger King and McDonald's and the Kentucky Fried Chicken than they did at the mess hall because, or at least it was always busy because it was an alternative.
It
They
was just
go,
a little snack you give yourself. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't great for you, but the cafeteria food could get kind of bland sometimes. So yeah, it's a nice little treat to give yourself.
as I said, he's a man of the people. He likes McDonald's. I don't understand how that. But again, I know it's not news. I know it's just the 10 stupidest people on Twitter. I don't even know if they're real sometimes, or if it's just bots that are trying to stir up anger by pretending to be angry that he likes McDonald's or that there was a McDonald's in Saudi Arabia. And then it starts this discussion and discussions online. You know,
Yeah, if anything, I just like that it's showing people on Twitter going, "I am embarrassed as an American that my president had McDonald's given to him." It's like, hey man, like we eat McDonald's here. Maybe they just thought like, hey, this would be a fun kind of thing, like a way to sort of not or like, okay, if the president was hosting some kind of meeting or party for people from Saudi Arabia or Qatar, and he had like some nice halal trucks. You know what I mean? I'm talking the halal guys, some of the good ones in New York. No one would sit there and go, "Can you believe this bastard wanted to give chicken shawarma and lamb kofta to these guys?" It's like, yeah, but that I mean, it's from that part of. It's a nice gesture. I don't know.
it's not like they showed up and he served McDonald's at the White House. That would be, again, no reason for
That
outrage.
was to
Well, I'm just saying it's not
the
worth
fun.
outrage, but there's a difference.
Yeah,
Outcome
I mean,
says there's plenty of stuff to be angry about, but the McDonald's is ridiculous. It's part of his diet. Yeah, outcome is right.
wrote this article about this
Right.
at a meeting
And
where
we're
he
fucked.
took a $400 million bribe. He took a $400 million bribe, completely above water, in front of everybody, in front of the whole world. Everybody could see it, and they're mad about the McDonald's. That's crazy. That's being mad at a person because he didn't wipe his shoes on the rug before he burned your house down.
Uh, well, speaking of angry, let's stick with Trump and then we'll get away from him. Well, we've got a couple because it's a bit ubiquitous. It's in the news everywhere. A post. Oh, there's only I didn't even care about this. A post by a MAGA voter who said their child's father was deported because of Trump's policies is going mega viral. So it's a story about this husband and wife. She voted for Trump, um, and she got had a baby with this guy. I don't care about the story, the thumbnail for the story, because I've said it up front. I go to aggregate sources, so you always have like here are all the headlines and here are little thumbnails, and then you can click on the story. The thumbnail for this story about a woman losing her husband to deportation was Maya Rudolph as Kamala Harris on Saturday Night Live. It made zero sense. This is how bad the news has gotten. Some bot out there, some AI, for some reason just thought that Maya Rudolph was Kamala and paired it to this article. And I don't have a screenshot of it, but come on.
Wait, because I missed what you were saying when you sent that article. You're saying that this.
I've got a list of headlines to choose from. Ooh, what should I send Jake? This story's interesting, this story's not. And this headline said in the aggregate, it said a post by a MAGA voter who said their child's father was deported. The thumbnail picture next to it was Maya Rudolph from Saturday Night Live as Kamala Harris. So when you clicked on Maya Rudolph, you got this article about deportation. I'm saying that's how bad the news is. The AI doesn't even know the difference between a picture of Maya Rudolph and Kamala Harris, and they put it on this article.
That's nuts, man. Yeah. It's one of those things. I'm always so kind of back and forth with AI. Because people talk about it like it's going to take over everything. It's going to be like Skynet and the Terminator. And then you see AI do really stupid shit, and it's like, dude, I think all of these robots are on the spectrum. I mean, it would be like if Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator character was like, I'll be, don't go anywhere. I'll be back in a little bit, and then he just went the wrong way and forgot to come back and drive the car through the police station. If he drove it through a McDonald's drive-through instead of the police station, I mean, that's kind of what AI is doing. I mean, he's like, I'll be back, and then the guy's looking like, all right, what's he going to do? Did he just drive into the fast food drive-through across the street and kill everybody at McDonald's? That's weird. Why did that fucking robot do that?
I honestly thought you were going to do a Max Headroom reference. I'll be back, back, back. Max Headroom to the center. We got shit going on in the chat. Surface Tension showed up. Talk about how you love dying children in Gaza. Why won't you talk about how much you love dead kids in Gaza? Please admit you get off on Gaza. This is a bot. This has to.
If that, I'll get canceled.
What's it?
I don't want to admit that I get off on that. I would get canceled. How dare you, Surface Tension News? You almost got me to walk into one.
Guys, this isn't a thing. Nothing you are talking about matters. Guys, nobody cares. Go for it. What do you want us to go for? You're making up some bullshit about how we enjoy seeing children dead. You're just making shit up. This is
What
bad
did he,
troll.
maybe this is what kind of turns people against uh, a lot of the protesters there. Is just kind of showing up to shit that has nothing to do with Gaza and then fucking screaming about Gaza. Uh, let's see. What I'm trying to see what his profile picture is. It's some kind of. I thought it was one of those green frog emojis, like
Yeah, the white. I can't tell, but I love how he just
buddy,
shows up. We're
your
talking
your
about
profile.
McDonald's and stupid.
It looks like squiggles on this.
Trump has nothing to do about Gaza. Uh, Gaza started before 1947. Is this new to you? No, how come I don't want to ban him? Because we're just going to stop talking about him. So,
Yeah, man. I didn't look. I mean, the guy talked about how he was going to force everybody out of there and turn it into the Riviera or something like that. I want to know where all those protesters who were calling Biden genocide Joe are on Trump saying he's going to fucking wipe everybody there out and turn it into a resort. Where's all the protests on that guy who's fucking screaming about Gaza?
Want to know why Trump? I heard he said it again yesterday while he was in the Middle East. Before he got back, he said that America would love to take. Why doesn't Saudi Arabia turn it into their Riviera? Why do we need to turn it into a second Riviera? Saudi Arabia is right there. They're all the Middle East, UAE. Turn it into their own little Vegas or their own little Monaco, their own little, turn it into a gambling hub or anything their religion.
I think it should be a part of the world that we don't really have that much to do with, honestly, man. It's corrupt business that we have over there. I think, of all the crazy things RFK said that I don't agree with, he was one of the only candidates who did make the point that the reason we are so invested in this conflict with Israel and Palestine is because Israel is our aircraft carrier in the Middle East for oil. Until we kind of get away more from oil, we're going to be sort of stuck at the hip to governments that do a lot of shady shit, like the government who gave Trump a $300 million plan.
Well, it boils down to religion. I mean, the hardcore Christians think that when Jesus comes back, he's going to wipe Israel clean and give them the promise. It's a bunch of bullshit. So, yeah, we don't need to be there, but we are. So, he's
I
just sick of it.
Surface tension news. You got me. I get off on genocide. Makes me come. Makes me come. I watched Hotel Rwanda with a fistful of lube. What's up? He's got me. He's got me. Got me
I
dead
was
to right.
I was just going to say that when I open porn
Yes, all genocide. All genocide. It's my faves.
so that I could watch the news and Pornhub because neither one on its own gets me off. I have to have the genocide on one side
Yeah,
and the sex on the other.
I gotta have the news showing horrible things, but then I have to have a dominatrix calling me a dirty piggy boy. There's got to be so many windows open at the same time. Also, I have to have slow jazz playing, kind of like those Cinemax softcore porns from back in the day. Remember that Cinemax After Dark? I gotta have that kind of music playing underneath. So I gotta
I,
have three windows open.
I'll do you one better. I need the music. I can't even watch the porn. I need the scrambled Cinemax from back in the day where I can just try and make out a
Yeah,
titty, and then the horror on one side. So it's like my imagination's running wild. It's like, ooh, there are the dying kids. Oh, that might be a breast, and that's the only way I can achieve an erection. So good on you, service tension. You figured us both out.
Timmel's going to be strapped to a gurney by aliens who kidnap him to make him reproduce. And they're going to be sitting there strapping to him like the guy in Clockwork Orange. And they're going to be going, all right, we got to figure out what makes this human come. And they're just going to start playing that Cinemax softcore slow jazz. And they're going to be like, you mean the music is what's really getting you off? And he's going to be like, yes. And he's going to be coming buckets all over their spaceship, making their spaceship all gooey.
Now surface tension is upset because we're not taking his little crybaby shit seriously. Sad. All right. Well, next story. Oh, this is a case of you get what you pay for. Rump. Rump, as in butt. RUMP. Customers upset with missing Trump branded watch that cost $640. And there's a picture of it. I think we talked about this when they announced they were selling the Donald Trump watches. Uh, but they forgot to put the T on. I'm gonna guess manufactured in China, and it's just a straight up rump watch with the I thought it was really nice. It was beautiful, and I knew it was something she'd like. He said when he was going to buy it for his wife, with the president's voice. I was curious, so I went on the website. And I noticed it right away. It just says Rub. Of course, you noticed it right away when you open the package. It says Rub. You're fucking buying a Trump watch.
Here's the thing: if I would have just if I would have given that watch to my wife and she would have opened it up and she would have just seen a pink rump watch, she would have thought it was from Megan the Stallion or something. I mean, it kind of just looks like a watch from Cardi B. I don't know.
It does. Why is it pink? That's what I want. Maybe it's the.
I think it looks better than pink rump watch. I think pink rump watches should be a thing. It's kind of like the shorts that say juicy.
I suppose. All right, enough with Donald Trump.
Wait. Before I will say, did you read all the way to the end of that article? The last little paragraph on there? Because I'm very much on Trump and this company's side in this whole fucking thing.
Okay. Oh,
All right.
geez. They got an $800 coupon to buy some other Trump shit.
They sent it, they were like, we're gonna fix it and we're gonna give you an extra $800. This company did right by them. They just took a little bit of time to get back to them in their customer service department. And these guys were raising such a stink about it. Like, I can't believe that the president would put his name on such a shoddy piece of equipment. And then they fucking did them right. They did them right. They were like, hey, sorry about that. We'll fix it. Here's an $800 coupon. And here's a tea for your rump watch.
The sentence before the paragraph. I think that someone needs to be made aware of the mistake in their license department, that someone dropped the ball big time, and an apology would be nice for making my wife cry. If your wife is crying because I wanted a beautiful Trump watch for my birthday, but this one says rump, oh, fuck off. Fuck off. And then to find out, not only do they get it, they can buy they got more in the coupon than they paid for the watch. These guys, these are fucking white trash douchebags.
Yeah, dude. I think they're being unfair to the president. They're being way unfair to the president. It's funny. Right before they went and talked to the news about this, right before that watch got there and sent them down this anti-Trump path, they would have sat there and gone, "Man, the liberal media is so unfair to Trump. They're getting mad about him for shit that's not his fault, and they're taking things out of context and blowing it up." And then these guys, wildly unfair to Trump, wildly unfair to this company. Yeah, it's annoying if you get a defective product, but they did right by him.
Something happened this week with our chat. Now we've got some asshole yelling Nick Fuentes for president, a troll or a far right nationalist racist. I don't know.
Think him and the surface tension news guy should get together and fuck. They should be a couple, you know?
Rubel, my childhood barber, Vietnam vet, had a watch he bought in Vietnam. It said Rolex, Rolllox on the face. And he wore it proudly, didn't he, Todd? Is that how you do? Because he's like, well, fuck it, I got taken. And he wore the Rolex.
That's not, yeah. Not only did he wear the Rolex, however they spelled it, he had to hide it for 7 years up his ass while in a POW camp to get it back to his son.
Remember sitting in the theater watching that, and when Walken appeared on screen to tell that story, after about 2 minutes, there was a woman behind me in her 20s, and she's going, what does this have to do with anything? And I'm like, it's a fucking movie. If you keep watching, it will explain itself. I'm sorry there was a non-linear edit that took you by surprise, but the Chiron literally said the gold watch. It showed there was a break between the last scene and this scene, but she literally like, I don't understand this. It's like, oh my god.
Hit the watch for 7 uncomfortable years up his ass. Yeah, I mean, it was a good scene. How are you going to sit there and not enjoy that scene? You know what? That lady is the surface tension news guy of that theater. You know what I mean? Like the movie's going on, it's a good scene, and she's just sitting there going, "Why aren't you talking about dead kids and guys?" Like, just watch the movie and enjoy it. It's one of Tarantino's best.
Eric the Great, Americans are the type of people that grow marijuana indoors just to complain about power outages or fires caused by them and dead firemen. What the fuck?
That's right. That has always been my biggest complaint about my fellow too.
News these days without finding a marijuana farmer who has a grow light in his basement talking about dead firemen. It's in the news every single day. Marijuana farmers with grow lights complaining about power.
Oh, hey, I will say, speaking of that though, they finally have dispensaries in New York that are actually like licensed, government sanctioned, and all that, and they're fucking good, man. But the edibles and the liquid tinctures, that's what I usually get. I don't like to actually smoke anything anymore. I'm old. I'm like running again and shit. So but it's really good. For a while after they legalized it, they just kind of had illegal weed stores because they were like, okay, weed's legal here, but you can't legally sell it yet because we still need to figure out the licensing. And that took years. So there was all kinds of technically illegal weed stores, but semi-legal that were like opening up. And their shit was awful. It was like, okay, I'm pretty sure this weed gummy bear was like 98% gummy bear and 2% weed because I got
Yeah.
like no tolerance and it's not fucking me up at all. And so, but now that they've actually got so they shut a lot of those down once they actually figured out the licensing thing, open them up, and now those are actually pretty good.
To Colorado when they were the first state, and my God, man, it was like going into a candy store because they say, "Oh, I want a drink," like you said, and they're like, "Okay, what flavor?" We got strawberry, cherry, rhubarb. Like they had a whole display. Oh, I want a granola bite. Okay, what flavor? Like it was this whole display of every sort of edible, ingestible beverage, anything you wanted. It was great. I mean, like you say, they give options now.
Dude, I did a show in Long Island. I think it was it Long Island or was it upstate? Anyway, I think it's Long Island. Either way, uh, one of the some lady that was producing the show came back from the liquor store. Was like, "Hey, they got these THC drinks at the liquor store, and they're like 50 milligrams of THC." And I was like, "What? What in one drink?" How? And she was like, "Yeah, they cost like $50." But yeah, I mean, if you drank 50 milligrams of THC,
Or a milligram.
I mean, yeah, but I mean that's a lot. That I mean, if it is what it claims to be. Now, what we were running into with the other weed stores that were the kind of unlicensed, illegal ones that
Yeah.
would open, is it would say all kinds of shit on there, and then it would barely do anything.
Showed up. Hello, tired. A little late today. All right, I want to get to the big story. We've been fucking around, but this one I think is great because we've talked about this, but now it is coming out, and I want to say it's official. First on CNN, new book reveals how Biden's inner circle kept cabinet from him in final 2 years of presidency. So the book is coming out. Where I can't remember the name. It should be on here. Two reporters. Um, Disastrous Erase, where Jake Tapper and who's the other one? God damn it, I scrolled past it. Access is Alex Thompson. So they went deep in researching this, and starting in 2022, they started hiding Biden from people to hide his cognitive decline. And then when he started falling down, or my favorite thing, I'm all over the place right now. I'm just going to go to Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart was the first one out who said Biden needs to drop out. And the Democrats shit all over him. They were making fun of him, saying, "You've got to toe the line. How dare you speak out against Biden?" And one person wrote, I don't remember who it was, said, "The Biden I see behind closed doors is sharp as a tack, is intelligent, is on the ball." And Stewart,
He only acts all old when there's cameras on.
yeah, he this responded. He said, "Do you have any footage of that? Do you have any foot? Because all we're getting is whenever he's in public, he's falling down, he's stuttering, he's losing thought, he's seeing out." And now we find that this started 2 years earlier, and they hit it. They fucking should have started. He should have gone into the presidency saying, "One term, I'm not running again."
Say that he
Well, I'm
did say
saying he that
first.
we should have started. Yeah, he did say that during the election. He said that during the election, but I really like. I mean, the book is called "Original Sin: President Biden's Decline." It's cover up and his disastrous choice to run again. The instant he started talking about running again, they fucking lied. They should have attacked him and said, "Nope, you are not running again." But instead, well, he's the president. We got to hide his cognitive decline from everybody. The Democratic Party did this to themselves. They're the dumbest motherfuckers on the planet.
Yeah, I mean, that's I think that screwed him more than anything was the lying about Biden's kind of faculties and then pulling him right after the primary and going, "Hey, did you guys realize that this guy's really old? We just realized he's old. Well, I guess you're going to have to vote for his vice president or no one." I mean that. I mean, you can't expect the party to show up for someone they didn't get a chance to vote for in a primary. It's just, it's not. Yeah,
In 2020, she was out of the race so fast.
right. They're acting like they didn't already run her in a primary. She got like single digit numbers, and yeah, she was out after like Iowa, one of the first few states, and I don't remember exactly when she got, but it
Did
was
she
early.
make it to Iowa? I caucused in 2020 for Buttigieg, and I remember Biden came in seventh in Iowa.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. He didn't start really getting steam until a little bit.
That's why they pushed the primary to South Carolina. So her began in 2019 and to 2021. She withdrew her candidacy on December 3rd, 2019. She didn't make it to Iowa. That's how bad she was.
So
Nobody wanted her.
and it'd be one thing if they had to pull him after the primary because he had a stroke or got hit by a car or a bolt of
Right.
lightning. You know, but this thing where they go, we just realized, I know you guys wanted to have a primary, but we just realized he's super old. So sorry. It's like there's that saying, Republicans fall in love, Republicans fall in line, Democrats fall in love. Right? And they just gave the party that falls in love an arranged marriage and just kind of hoped it would work out, man. And I mean, yeah, that's on them. So anytime I kind of hear Democrats talking about like, well, let's talk about what went wrong, and they start going into policy stuff. Cool. I'm not saying don't look at that, but if they're not going to bring into the discussion the whole telling everybody Joe Biden was young enough for a second term and then throwing them his vice president without having a primary, that to me is the biggest thing that fucked them.
Really quick, Cooter the other white meat. I love that name, Cooter the other white meat. I love it when you're live. Your chat is so hilarious, and it's even funnier when you ignore the BS going on in the chat. It's not really that we ignore it; it's that sometimes it goes so fast that we don't have a chance to catch it all. And then we had that one asshole just screaming Palestine every second. We did start to ignore him, but I did notice every so often someone going back at the asshole screaming Palestine. So thank you for taking care of him. But so here I'm gonna go back to Biden for now. According to the book, Jill Biden is one of the biggest cover-up people out there trying to protect her husband. And I don't know anything about her, but I remember when she got a little testy and got her doctorate and wanted to be referred to as Dr. Biden, Dr. Jill Biden. I mean, that's just kind of a dick move. That makes me think of Ed Helms in The Hangover. Like, well, Doctor. I can't remember his character's name, but Doctor Helms is like, you're a fucking dentist. It's like, yes, you achieved doctorate, but when you are so insecure that you feel the need, because I'm gonna. This is personal to me. My dad did that. My dad got a doctorate, and there was a short period of time where he'd try and make reservations like, yes, a reservation for Dr. Timmel. Well, what kind of doctor are you? Well, I have a doctorate in management. I mean, fuck off. Like, yes,
Right. And why does the reservation have to say doctor? Even if he was a brain surgeon, it's like, what do you, I mean, is this to separate me from all the other reservations in this restaurant for guys
right.
named, it's not like Smith or Johnson. It's like there's gonna be one Timmel reservation. Just go with Timmel. This guy doesn't
That. But
my
my whole
my
point, it's a way of saying something is like, there's a difference between, hey, I did something and I'm proud of it, and no, this is how you must refer to me. No, no, this you need to. And so the idea that she was overprotecting her husband, it's kind of like, I can see that. I haven't read the book yet. The book's not out, but the early reviews are saying that she went all in on protecting. And of course, you want to protect your spouse, but one way you protect your spouse is by being honest, because this is Biden's legacy now. His legacy is fucking up the DNC because, yeah,
right.
because he
I mean,
didn't back
the,
out. He fucked
the,
everything.
the thing with like dementia, aging, Alzheimer's, whatever, it doesn't happen on a direct decline. Like there's a decline, but it's not like a straight line. It's think of like a stock going down. Like
You have a bad week. You have a good day.
right. I was around my grandfather a lot when he went senile, and he was really bad towards the end. I mean, couldn't really talk, but I mean, up until the very, very late stages of it, there'd be some days where he seemed like he was 50 years old again. And then the next day, for no rhyme or reason, he could barely talk. And so like you have polarized news organizations, right? The news on the left will show clips of Democrats sounding good and Republicans sounding really dumb. And then the news on the right will do the inverse. When the Republicans sound great, here's that clip. Here's a clip of a Democrat stumbling. Like that's just kind of how it goes. Well, when you do that with somebody who's aging, you're kind of taking like 20 years off of their life. So they're only showing the clips of Biden when he seems kind of with it, like he was at State of the Union address, whereas they're completely ignoring the clips where he's trailing off at press conferences and stuff like that. Whereas You go over to like Fox or somebody, they're only showing the clips of where he's trailing off. So they make it look like the guy's 97, and so that's kind of what you're doing if you're only showing a politician when they sound good while they're aging. Is you're showing on the good days, not the bad days, and you're going to give the perception that that mentally they're a lot more together than they really are.
LED Hit, who welcome aboard. We've seen you here weekly. A good fellow. LED Hit. It happens over years. It's not like you flip a switch. He's
Right. A lot of it instills a lot of mistrust in the party when you sit there and tell people for years, like, no, he's not that old. He's not that old. Don't listen to all those racist, sexist, homophobes over there talking about the president's old. Come on, that's a dog whistle for A, B, C, and D. And then you sit there and go, oh no, we got to pull him because we just realized he's old. Well, that does two things. A, it gives a fuck you to your base, who many of them are sitting there like that guy in the chat earlier, I'm sure, calling your president, and these are people on your side of the aisle sitting there calling him Genocide Joe and stuff like that. Those people are going to feel slighted if you don't have a primary and you just go with that guy's vice president. Anybody who feels like, oh, this guy's too moderate, this administration's too moderate for whatever their reason is, right? But then there's also the thing to where it's like, okay, if you guys knew he was this old for this long, he wasn't really running stuff like a president should be. If he's this old now, who's really been running it the last few years? Well, we don't get to vote on that. If he hasn't, it who has, and it just completely dispels trust in your party.
I mentioned that on here once, and I remember saying it because in 2016, the talk was, sure, Trump's not a politician, but he's going to surround himself with the best people. He's going to bring in the best cabinet. So my thought was, when people were saying Biden is old and senile, just say the same thing. Sure, he's old and senile, but he's actually going to surround himself with a good cabinet, because the Biden years, the first two, when Democrats controlled everything, they passed the Jobs Act. Was there the infrastructure bill, the Chips Act? Maybe I got the jobs wrong. Chips. They got a lot done. And then once Republicans took over, they stopped getting shit done, and now nothing's getting done except they're fighting to cut Medicaid. So yay! But yeah, just use the same excuse. Yeah, sure, Biden's fucking cognitively gone. He doesn't know what day of the week it is, but he's just a figurehead. Just be honest. Say he's a fucking figurehead. He's got a good cabinet that's going to take care of him. But no,
we got a good comment in the chat. This is a Dana West. I love. I can't read. I love that the guy on the left looks like he completely disassociated as the guy on the right starts yapping. I see the light leave Timmel's eyes every time I start yapping. That's right.
Part of it is I'm trying to read the fucking comments. I use Jake talking as a chance to try and read the comments.
I do like that though. And that was
that is great
observation.
You just see this glaze come over me like,
oh God, he's babbling again.
Except if you watch the playback, I do laugh at all the correct places. I catch it when Jake drops a joke.
There you go. I just didn't on that last one, so it looked like he was having a colonoscopy.
I was waiting for the joke, and it never came. Completely disassociated. There was one I saw that I did see that I'm trying. I'm happy to see you guys clean and sober again. I can't find it now, but yeah, someone was happy to see us sober. Must have been talking about you love.
Hey, that feels like it was directed at the right side of the screen here.
All right. Oh, speaking of Democrats, I think this is the final story. Oh no, we got one more after this. We got two stories. I don't understand. Yeah. All right. So speaking of Democrats being dumb as shit, this made me laugh because I listened to the Real Time with Bill Maher podcast, and David Hogg was on there talking about how he's just elected to be what's his title? David Hogg, vice chair. He's part of the DNC.
Okay.
What's that? Hogue?
Pope.
Yeah, Hogue. David. Either way, for the Parkland story.
No, I said Pope. It was a bad joke. I refused to play the tape back.
I didn't even get it. I just figured I was saying it wrong because I'm dumb as shit. No,
it's you. You missed my terrible joke, and I made you rewind and hear it. That's what happened. I like the world to smell my balls. I like to sit in it.
Right. So, okay. The Democratic National Committee, the DNC, holds an election for leadership roles. David is elected to one of its 5 vice chairs, and there you go. You had an election, people voted. However, turns out that they missed their quotas. They have to have a certain number of women and men. If there are 5 vice chairs, that then you're going to have an uneven number because that's 3 and 2. But either way, they can't just accept the vote. No, no, they have to get into quotas. And this is why the Democrats always fucking lose. They can't even do it when they elect their own leaders. They can't get it right because they had an election. Here's who was chosen, but oh, they're missing a woman, so now they have to have new elections just to have representation. I'm not saying representation is bad, but Jesus Christ, if you're gonna say get it right the first time, ooh, I you're hitting quotas. You're not accepting the will of the vote. You're hitting quotas. You're getting mired in the little details instead of legislating. This is why you always fucking lose, Democrats.
Yeah, it's too bad because I've seen David Hogg on interviews and I like him. He seems pretty bright. And he's young. I think he's gonna right party. What's up?
It's good to see you guys in men's clothing again.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we've been
I,
experimenting with wearing dresses and tutus during the podcast for a while, so yeah, it wasn't the best. So yeah, we're putting on guys' clothing every so
yeah,
often.
that's true. I don't look good in a onesie. All right, I'm a really ugly bitch. Even with a wig on, I still look balding somehow.
Anyway,
But yeah, but I think he seems pretty good. You know what I mean? Like I think he's gonna be a congressman someday, all of that. But I think maybe this could allow him to go toward his true, what I believe could be his true calling. That's porn star, man. David Hogg is a porn star name. Come on, he's a young, good-looking guy. He should go into porn and then come back into politics when he's a little bit older.
do you notice that I was completely making faces, tuning you out during that entire? I was checking my
That's true.
over, made it look like I was paying zero attention to you. I did like the porn star joke, but yeah, I think he is going to get a congressman or get into a leadership role. I think he's very well spoken. It's like
He's great.
as an old guy, I want to hate him for being young, but when I listen to him, like, I can't knee jerk be angry because
I want to the same reason I hate you for having a full head of hair, but I can't do it. I can't do it with either one of you.
and Dana admits David Hogg is a porn star name. Hello, yeah, it's got
I
Hogg
think
right in it.
trashing us for loving Trump. That's not true at all. Go back to the beginning of this podcast. We were trashing him for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, we've trashed both the Republicans and the Democrats. See, this is what I've said a million times. One of the reasons we do not gain enough followers is because we haven't picked a lane to stay in. We don't automatically praise or bash Trump or praise or bash Democrats. We bash everybody, and that confuses and upsets people. People want their echo chamber, and we just make fun of
It's
everybody.
there's a lot of other reasons, but I don't want to go into those. They're too painful. They're too painful.
Well, it's not well, it was painful when we were a baby, but the main reason we don't have followers is because once, and we've talked about this 1,000 times, once on this podcast, I mentioned in passing that my son is circumcised, and man, that brought down the anti-circumcision lobby upon us. That podcast we got more negative comments from anti-circumcision rights activists than any other podcast in the world, and it dented us. We've never crawled out of that hole.
Oh yeah, dude. If you think that guy screaming about Gaza in caps lock was annoying, wait till you. Oh my God, wait till you get some of these anti-circumcision activists on you. It's crazy,
And this was one guy screaming about Gaza. The anti-circumcision, they blew us up, man. We were
dude.
enemy
It's
number
what
one.
It's wild. And dude, my favorite, if you really go into a lot of their comments, is when they start getting anti-Semitic because like they will get like anti-Semitic conspiratorial over the circumcisions where they'll be like, but the reason you see all circumcised dicks in porn is because the you know who's control the media. And it's like, well, that's a weird end game, huh? For
Yeah.
the cabal. That would be surely there's gotta be one guy sitting around the secret meeting table going, hey, can't we just make money and get
Yeah.
women and How's this? What? I don't care about babies' dicks. What is it?
Yeah, who had to add that one? Outcome. I don't even apologize. I just I love this, and I just met you guys. I'm hooked. Well, there you go. We're here every Saturday at 11 a.m. Central, noon Eastern. Thanks, Outcome 98. All right, one final story. We've. I should have put this up front because we bashed Republicans. It's sort of going back to the beginning. United States. This is a couple days ago to begin admitting white South African refugees. Well, they're already here. They landed. But yes, refugees from Guatemala, gang-ridden Haiti, war-torn zones. Those are all bad. White Afrikaners. Hey, they're being discriminated against. Welcome aboard.
It's wild. It's wild. It's the most. And here's the thing. I don't follow South Africa enough to really know what the fuck's going on there. I am admittedly ignorant when speaking about this topic. If there really are a bunch of white Afrikaners who, by this point, probably most of them didn't have anything to do with apartheid. If they really are in danger, cool. I'm in favor of them coming here. But if you're being super lenient with those guys and people who are, afraid of like cartels in South America or warlords in other parts of Africa, if you're not letting them in, it's pretty shitty. I'm for all kinds of people who are potential victims of violence from corrupt governments, from gangs, from cartels, whatever. Like, I'm in favor of giving lots of them asylum. When you just go, I'm letting a bunch of refugees who are in danger from Africa come to America. Let me finish just the white ones. Like, it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah, well, it's all Stephen Miller. It's literally all Stephen Miller. But all right, we have gone over our
Stephen
time.
Miller, you talk about a guy who comes to some weird stuff. Look at that guy. He has resting dark web face at all times. Man, I don't know what makes that guy come, but it's dark. It's so like it'll get you kicked out of a Diddy freak off what that guy's into. I don't know what it is. It's bad.
It is, it is. All right, I can be found at nathantimmel.com. I have a 1 hour comedy special on YouTube. I have a t-shirt store. I just released my newest t-shirt. It just says vegan and just big bold vegan, and then underneath in parentheses, not really. I just want to be left alone. So I thought that was pretty good. The only problem is from a distance, you're going to get approached by vegans because they're going to like, oh, vegan. They're going to come up and annoy you. But Jake can be found at all on all social media at Jake Vevra. He has his own 1 hour stand-up comedy special on YouTube, Unalived by Dog Pills. Mine is called Unapologetic. I never give the name, but yeah. So we have unapologetic, danger aware.
Yeah, give him likes, give him comments, share them with friends, that kind of thing.
Yeah. All right. As I told Outcome 98, our newest good friend, thank you for joining us. We are here every Saturday live, and you listen on Spotify. I post a edited down version on YouTube, and yeah, thanks for being in the chat. Thank you for hanging out. Sorry we missed a lot of the chat.
Justin Bieber's getting blown on Trump's new $400 million plane.